Brooks Koepka, he's absolutely dominating live golf at the minute, and he always seems to be in contention when he turns up to a major. So let's have an in-depth look at his golf swing today. So if we look at setup, you'll see from down the line, he's got a nice bit of knee bend. He has that neutral spine position, and those arms hang beautifully just in front of his shoulders there. You usually see that position with driver from the best players in the world. If we look at face on, you'll see he's got a nice bit of foot flare. He's got a nice bit of tilt there for hitting driver. And then his grip is slightly strong in the left hand and then a little bit strong in the right hand as well, which you'll see he's got that strong motion, strong club face throughout his swing. So let's get rid of those lines and then look at his takeaway. So if I'm just going to circle that head movement and then just zoom in just to show you what he does at takeaway. So you'll see here, watch how he really starts to rotate that head early. Can you see that? So that's his little trigger move. A lot of great players do that. Just facilitates a lot of rotation through the neck and then down the spine. So that really helps him there. So let's zoom out a little bit and draw a few more lines. So what I'm going to do is just draw a line on his hip here. So what you're going to see from Brooks is his initial move is very much rotation with that head, and then can you see how he's really bumping to that right side? The camera angle's pretty stable here, so you can see that he is actually moving into that right side beautifully there. And you'll also note that fallacy about keeping your head still. Look how much his head's moved off the ball initially. All he's doing there is really loading into that trail side, and I love that move for power because Brooks, he bombs it, let's be honest. So if we look from down the line, let's draw the famous butt line, and then you'll see that little rotation from the head sort of loads into the ground and then gets into this lovely takeaway position. His hands have just slightly moved inside from when they started. So if I draw a line just on the grip here, you'll see how it's just going to move slightly inside of that. Not very much, just pretty much actually on a straight line there. You'll see how that club head is staying nice and parallel to his back line. And then also look at that beautifully one-piece takeaway there. Just love that action from Brooks. Really simple, not a lot of moving parts there other than the shift off the ball. So if I just get rid of those lines so we can tidy the screen up a little bit, you'll also notice he started to bend a little bit in that right arm. Again, just setting him up for a great backswing position. So if we bring him back to midway back, you'll see his hands are pretty much in the center of his chest, maybe a little bit behind his chest there. You'll see with Brooks from face on, he's got moved off the ball a little bit there. You can see how that red line that he had at setup, he has moved a couple of inches maybe laterally when he gets to this mid backswing position. And he's just really loaded into that trail leg there. It's a great position for power. Now what I want to notice, you guys to notice on this position, is look at the club face there. Look how shut that face is. Really, really shut. If from down the line it's almost pointing at the camera, whereas a lot of guys that are more neutral, you'd see that club face more pointing at the face on camera. It's a really strong position in terms of where the club face is there. Like I said, he's moved a little bit laterally off the ball. And then let's bring him up to the top, and I want you to take notice of look what happens with his shoulders here. So from about this position, you'll notice if you look specifically at the sternum, it doesn't actually move. What's happening is from here, all he does is really just raise the arms up. So he's done pretty much all the turn there. You'll notice from this position, he's not got a huge amount of hip turn. And then just from here, it's just almost a lift. You see that guys that are a little bit tight through the spine. And Brooks, he's a big guy, so he probably is a little bit tight through that thoracic spine. And he's also got some guns on him, so sometimes the lats, it can be difficult to get the hands in a really high position. And you'll see from here, from down the line, from here, look how the belt buckle, not the belt buckle, sorry, the buttons on his shirt. Look how they don't kind of change position. It's just all hands and arms from here up to the top. And you notice at this top of the backswing, he's not got a great deal of hip rotation there. He's got quite a lot of knee flex compared to somebody like a Rory or some of the other guys that are going a little bit more old school. But I still love that position. It's a very, very powerful position there. You can see how his head's not wandered too far off the ball from it was at setup. And you'll notice this is where Brooks is a little bit unique. Well, say unique, there's a lot of guys favouring this stronger club face at the top. You can see how that club face is pointing right up to the sky, and you'll see how much bow or flexion he's got in that left wrist, and also look how much that right wrist is extended there. You can see he's not got a huge amount of width compared to a lot of guys. You can see how his hands are fairly close to his head there. I think that's probably just due to a bit of flexibility, because he's not got a huge amount of rotation through his spine. But I love this guy's swing, and I think the magic of Brooks' swing is what happens in transition and the downswing. So let's get rid of all those lines to make it clear. So you really can see it here is watch from here, watch that club head. So we draw a circle on the club head there. You can see how, look how quickly that club head's really looped around. So it's fantastic. That little move there, that is just creating so much speed and power. And how he's doing that, it's a few ways really. So if you look firstly from a body action, you'll see this from face on. You'll see, look at his lead hip. Watch how it bumps slightly to the left there. Boom. You see that little move? That lead knee is really starting to rotate, and you can see how that creates, look at the shaft there, you can see how it really creates that momentum in the shaft, and then it starts to lay it down. And you can see from face on, this is what causes that tremendous shallowing, is look how much lower his right shoulder is, so his right elbow than his left. Loads lower, and you can see that from down the line as well in this position. Look at that angle there between his elbows. He's really dropped that elbow down below that left elbow, and what that does in combination of really getting more flexion in the lead wrist. If we look at that, look at the lead wrist as well, get the right circle tool, you can see how that wrist starts to move more into flexion here. And I mean, he's a unicorn. There's not a lot of guys could do that position. Just tremendous amount of athleticism, if I can say it there. And you'll see as well, he does a beautiful job considering how much that trail elbow is getting below the left. It's still staying in front of his body. And what we mean by that is, if we take frame of reference as the seam line on his polo shirt here, you can see how that trail elbow, I know it's a bit blurry, but it is still in front of his body. And it's just a great way of creating loads of speed. And Brooks loves to hit that little fade, so it helps get his path to the left. And you can see there, look how powerful that position there is. That lead elbow is just, trail elbow, sorry, is key for him. Look how much lower it is than the left, and look at the lag in the club, just beautiful. And the club's still in a pretty strong position there. We bring him a few more frames down. You can see there, it's so powerful. He's just retained so much lag there. Let's bring him down to a similar frame. Look how bent that trail arm is. That right arm is so bent in that position, and you can see, look at that angle there he's retaining, and it's just basically like a slingshot from the next few frames. You can see again, look at that position there. It's freakish. I don't know how he gets into that position with that much elbow bend. It is such a strong position. And then let's bring him a few more frames down. Again, phenomenal. You can see his trail leg started to extend, because what he's doing there is, if we look at the position of the pelvis, let me just clear these lines off, and you watch the pelvis position here. It's going to drop, and then can you see how it just rises up from here? So it's down, and then boom, it moves up a little bit. and that's where you see that leg straightening, because what he's doing is he's pushing into the ground here, then starts to straighten up. You can see that move really straighten up, uses the ground there beautifully, and you'll see Brooks, this could be a problem potentially as well for him. He probably works a lot on this with his coach, is you can see how much he gets up onto the tiptoes there, and you can see almost he stays through those tiptoes on the lead foot for quite a while, bring him through. You can see how the lead heel is still up in the air there, but that's because he is pushing so much through the ground. And if we look from face on, let's get him into impact position actually. Oh, I haven't quite got it, but look at the tremendous amount of lag here. How far his hands are ahead of the club head there. It's phenomenal. And all that about keeping the left arm straight. Look at the bend there. Let's draw the angle tool on here, and let's see how much he actually has a bend there. So, you know, he's got a good, get rid of that, let's do it more accurately. You can see he's got quite a lot of bend in that lead arm at impact. We don't always have to keep that lead arm straight at all. Again, I'd probably say that's probably due to maybe a limited mobility, or the fact that he's just trying to hold the face off that much because he likes to hit a little bit of a cut. Now you'll see again, look at that face on view, look at the lead foot that we were talking about, how he's up in the air with that heel, and then let's bring him through. Everything from here is just a reaction to what he's doing. It's a very much sort of a upper body driven swing, I'd say, in terms of there's not a lot of rotation here, and it's just quite a lot of arms and just brute strength here. Powers it through here, and then from here he's just holding on to that angle and just pushing off the ground, and then just holding onto it so he can hit those little buttercuts. I love watching Brooks Koepka swing. It's not the prettiest swing in the world, but it is so efficient. You can just see how there's not a lot of moving parts and a lot of senses, and he just utilizes what his body can do. You know, he's a strong guy. He can absolutely bomb it. He has struggled with injury, and I think that's led to some issues in his swing, but I think now he's fit, he's going to be a contender. And I know everybody says about Rory winning all these majors, but I think Brooks could potentially at the end of his career end up with more majors than Rory.